Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I am in downtown Orange, California today, the Orange Circle. And this is a very old shopping district. It used to be a very famous drugstore here. Watson's Drug was there. Now it's a Mexican restaurant, Hector's. And times there are changing. So we're going to cover why is it that we're always told that the recession is going to start in 6 months. It's not today, it's 6 months from now. That's when the recession is going to start. Oh, okay. Before I get into it, please take a second. Please like the video. Please hit the bell notification and subscribe to the channel. And also we have a sponsor today, Patriot Gold Group, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But this is the Orange Circle right here. A little construction out here. It's a nice area. That's beautiful. Shot a bunch of movies here. They have a big street fair here every year. It's a nice place. But the cool thing was this was closed to traffic up until just a few months ago. And during the pandemic, they closed this and you could walk around here freely without cars and things like that. But one thing that we're always told is that the recession, hey, we could have a recession in 6 months. It's going to happen by mid-year. Things are so good that it's going to, it's not now. Don't worry about it now. The other thing is that about a half mile from here is Chapman University. And Chapman University every year has an economic forum for Orange County, California, where they talk about the state of the economy and where it's at. And I used to attend this thing every year when I ran conferences, and I used to always ask the same question to these guys, and finally they would say, "Hi Dan, you gonna ask it again?" "Yes." "Why is it that you guys don't predict anything? You always report on what's happening after the fact," which I always thought was, ridiculous, because if this happens and that happens, this is gonna happen. It's never, hey, I think that we're in for a real big slump right now in the economy, and you would never have that. So it was always a defensive position as far as what was going to, what had happened in the economy. Okay? With that being said, we're seeing things bad right now as far as growth, layoffs, everything. Think about this. We're supposed to believe this is the greatest employment that we've had in 54 years? I think that was the number. Less than 4% unemployment right now. And it's kind of ridiculous when you think about that, because it doesn't make an ounce of sense, because there are millions of people not being reported on the employment count. Right now there's a great article, a bunch of great articles that add all this stuff up. When you add it up, it doesn't make any sense. They're anticipated that there's 2 million people that are not counted on the employment numbers right now. Where did they go? Well, according to Anna Shu from Bank of America, these people, Dan, had excessive savings. These people just took off and they don't want to work. They're living with friends. They're living with people, and they have cheaper apartments, cheaper houses, and they don't have to worry about money like you and I have to worry about, which doesn't make an ounce of sense. So how about the fact that these people should be counted on the unemployment numbers? No. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it that these workers are, just on the sideline. Think about this. You don't have people retiring at the pace that you talked about, in 2020, when the Great Resignation. People were sick of working under those conditions. That's what that was all about. And here's a toy store, Tiddlywinks, all the classic toys. Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat, all this stuff. Kind of cool. This is also where they shot that movie, That Thing You Do. And there's Mr. C's Records, and they had the appliance store across the street. But that's where they shot stuff like this. They shoot a bunch of movies down here. So, anyways, they're talking about people having excessive savings. Think about this. During the pandemic, when we were given all this free money, there's a big portion of people that went out and just saved the money, didn't spend it, which made saving rates go up, But they also, during this time, they also went out and printed more money and put it into circulation than ever before. So with that being said, it really did affect things economically. All the different shops down here, so fascinating. But what's the right answer, okay? A recession is considered 2 quarters of down gross domestic product for 2 quarters in a row. If you have that, that's considered a recession. Last year, Mexico was in a recession. We hit 2 downturns, and they have every other name for it other than a recession. But don't worry, we could have an economic downturn in 6 months. Nobody wants to admit that we're in an economic downturn. A great article below from an HR representative that used to work at Microsoft, and he was a VP of HR, talking about how bad it is, and that people need to go out and they need to get themselves in a position that they could get fired at a moment's notice. Okay, anytime. And you need to make yourself so important in the company that they're not going to fire you. People that bring in revenue, people in HR don't get fired. People that are innovating something new for the company, they generally don't get fired. It's the people that have different causes, and when you read it, you can see what the other things are, but it's things that are not helping the company move forward and grow. Those are the people that get fired first. So everybody loves me. They're not going to fire me. Well, want to bet? Happens all the time right now. So this is nice. I'm going to walk out to the center out there and just stop and clear those. But you're seeing things completely different now than you did, a few months ago. Sales are down for companies across the board. You're seeing the fact that you can lie about the employment numbers, which they're doing constantly to us. You can talk about the fact that the economy is strong and that people are building still. Here's the thing. Talking about construction, if a home builder goes out and borrows money to complete a project, they may get the thing 25% done, and they may still be having, people framing and things like that. It's kind of fun. Big deal. Oh, construction is strong right now. Why is it they're laying people off at Lowe's? Why is it that Home Depot is talking about sales being down? Okay, why is that? Scan here. I think I'm just going to get one of these from my house. Invite people over and just play with bubbles all day. Nobody wants to look at the obvious right now. And again, what would be the big thing if we were in a recession? Wouldn't that make you prepare? Jerome Powell's going to, talk to Congress this week, and we're supposed to sit there and listen to his shenanigans before the Fed meeting 2 weeks from now. And no. He's not going to tell us anything new. Our Fed goal for inflation, again, I heard, almost fell out of my car today driving here. We're going to get this thing to 2%. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? This is not going to happen, and they've lied to us for long enough. So, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. What we're in right now is one of the worst economic times in history. People don't want to believe that. You're seeing more people have problems with real estate when you have mortgages at 7%. Okay? This is the problem, guys. It's a real problem. So, people that could afford a house for $550,000 can barely afford one that's $350,000 for the same income right now. And you don't think that that's going to give them less buying power? Huge problem, guys. Huge problem. People are out of their savings right now. They're into their credit card debt. And again, if you don't talk about it, if you call it a growth recession, if you call it something else, this is supposed to be something that we're all supposed to get through. It's an absolute lie. So this is cool down here. They've got, Italian restaurants. You've got the Cuban restaurant down here. We've got the Earth Cafe here. All this stuff. A bunch of bars, to eat at, drink at, eat, drink, be merry. Just a nice area. Older, So Share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. We're going to cover a lot more to this, but put it off 6 months. Put it off 6 months. It's not today, it's 6 months from now. If you believe that, you're crazy. Because why is it that advertising is off? Why is it that people are spending less on online advertising? People are spending less and the ads are less effective right now because people have no money. Okay? Why is it that inventory for certain retail, they're not spending the money that they did before? They're not keeping the retail because nobody has the money to buy it. So let me cover more for you guys. Now, we're supposed to believe that the economy is fantastic. Think about this. More teachers are quitting teaching because they can't live on a teacher's salary. It's happening around the country. Great story below about this. It is tragic. These people are responsible for our kids, and they are not staying with that job. It's terrible. I know somebody who just stopped being a teacher because she was tired of the grind. The COVID shenanigans, everything that she had to deal with during that time, she'd rather do something else. That is wild, okay? That somebody went to school for this and that's what they want to do. U.S. manufacturing is dropping right now because people are not buying planes. Countries are not buying planes. Companies are not buying planes like they did before. This is absolutely getting destroyed right now. And think of the people that work in the airline industry with the manufacturing for companies like Boeing and all the parts that go into that. Think of all the parts that go into the auto industry. Speaking of the auto industry, Elon Musk, for the second time in 2023, lowered the price of a Tesla right now. Because it's so good. Everything's so good. The recession's going to be in 6 months. Buy the car today. This is insane, guys, that they're doing this. It's absolutely nuts that everything is being put off. Plus, there's another great Elon Musk story, is that they're trying to make this a bad thing. Elon Musk has security with him 24/7. Well, the richest man in the world better have security with him 24/7. Could you imagine, guys, making fun of the fact that he's got people walking around with him all the time? Could you imagine the kooks, the women, the crazies, the nuts, did I say kooks too? Don't forget that are going to go up to Elon Musk and want to talk to him, okay? And I'd be one of them, okay? So, with that being said, you know, shocking. But Tesla has lowered the price of their cars again, okay? Now, Jerome Powell, you know, he's going to talk, he's going to tell us how great everything is, and everybody's going to go and hang on every single word that this guy says. Remember, we never voted for these people, okay? The FDIC and everything going on with that, you know, it's ridiculous. All these banking people that have control of our lives and control of your business, it's absolutely wrong in every way, shape, and form. But a lot more to cover. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. Let's face it, guys. So much is happening right now around the world that you need to be concerned about. But one thing you need to take control of is your own retirement. You need to get yourself an IRA or 401k that's backed by physical metals. And the best place to do that is Patriot Gold Group. Call them today, 888-330-1431, and get yourself a free investor guide. And they will show you how you can set up a no-fee-for-life IRA that's backed by physical metals. Do what central banks are doing. They are buying gold at a record pace. You're going to see more billionaires get into gold, and you're going to see people like Bank of America and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs talk about how gold could go as high as $3,000 an ounce. You need to have this in your retirement today. Call the good people at Patriot Gold today. 888-330-1431 before it's too late. You know, do what billionaires are doing, guys. Do the smart thing. Get yourself protected. Take matters into your own hands before it's too late. Call them today and let them know that I allegedly sent you. 888-330-1431 today. Now remember, everything is great. We're not in a recession. It's going to be 6 months from now. But think about this. During the health crisis, people had their benefits for SNAP. That is the food program, basically welfare, to get food subsidies increased. Some families, based on the number of people in the family, got these increased as much as $600, and April 1st, this goes away, and the USDA is saying, hey, wait a second, maybe this isn't the best time to be doing this because food is at an all-time high right now. Oh, okay, but inflation's not a problem, the economy's great, everything's good, and these people are gonna be without food. Eggs, continue to skyrocket, guys. Eggs do not, there's no end in sight to egg prices, but look at everything that is made with eggs, okay? That's why pasta's going up. That's why everything with eggs is going up. Dough, pizza, everything. Just it is. It's all shooting up right now, right before our eyes. But don't worry about it. Now here's another lie out of Market Watch that I thought was absolutely insane. Is they're saying, hey, isn't it weird that employment's going down and the numbers are going down, but doesn't make a lot of sense? Well, yeah, because you've got all these businesses around here closed at the orange circle that you've never had before. I'm telling you, coming here since I was a kid, you didn't have vacancies here. You didn't have Watson's Drugs go out of business. You didn't have other stores that were gone. This was going to be the Mecca. In 2019, they were going to have this be a food hub that people would come to, and they were talking about closing the street down, then they weren't, and then the health crisis hit and they shut it down. But so many places went out of business and they're not back yet. Just not back yet. So you can't have it every way. You can't sit there and say, oh, the economy's great, everything's good right now, and people can't afford to eat. People have asked me lately what I think of Frank Glover and Joseph Dreamhouse. Fantastic organization. We've raised a bunch of money for them. We did it last year, had raised money through baseball games, individual events. I mean, she's been our go-to food charity for basically 2 years now. So check out Joseph Dreamhouse. I'll leave the link below for them. They're a great group of people. But you can't have it that business is off like this, and this is gonna be 6 months from now. Why can't we just admit that we're in an economic downturn and be a big boy? Put on your big boy pants and just accept it and run your business knowing that sales are going to be different right now going into summer. People are not going to spend the money like they did in previous years. During the health crisis, everybody fixed up their house. Hey, we're not going to travel. We're going to stay here. Let's do the home improvements. Great. That's not going to happen this year, guys. You're going to see housing prices drop dramatically as we hit these 7% mortgage rates. And Jerome Powell, again, nobody voted for Jerome Powell. Remember that. Nobody voted for the FDIC. Remember that. And this is just, it's too much right now. But they're going to lie to us and tell us that everything's great. And it's not, guys. I am seeing more people write me on a daily basis. I could put this 10 times in a video. Hey, Dan, my spending limit at the credit union got lowered. Daily spending on your debit card. Think about this. It's your cash in your bank. Some of these retired engineers and doctors and teachers that have sent me, they've got millions of dollars in the bank, okay? Some have hundreds of thousands, but they can't go out and spend more than $500 a day. That's the kiss of death, guys. That is the kiss of death. Have your money spread all over the place when this happens. Credit lines getting lowered by the banks. Another huge problem that nobody wants to look at. Go to your bank and tell them that you want more money. You want to be able to take more money out of the ATM card. Oh, well, we can't do that. No, I know people. B of A, get it $1,500. If you walk in and ask for your personal account, they will give you $1,500. For your business account, they'll give you a maximum of $1,000 a day, which, is something. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. But again, this is a really peaceful spot. People come out here and they sit around and they read and they hang out and talk and sit around the fountain, and they're going to redo all this area. They do a street fair every Labor Day. That's nice here. They have an international food fair here. Every street has a theme. So you have, Mexico, Greek, Italian, just everything. It's very cool. Worth going out to. It's also the only street fair in Southern California where you're allowed to drink alcohol in the street. They have a zone and you can walk around the street and drink. So for you booze hounds, it's a fun place to be. Whenever I mention these two people, I always get emails, and they either love them or they hate them. Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman. You know, I think their advice is solid because it's get out of debt. You know, don't rack up your credit cards, pay things off, save. You know, solid advice. Susie Orman right now is stepping forward and saying, listen, you need to worry about your Social Security. You need to worry about your retirement, and you need to not rely on this government that may not be there for us in the future. So you need to save and you need to prepare for this, which, again, how can you argue with that? That's solid advice. There's nothing wrong with that advice. Iran just announced that they may have one of the world's largest lithium deposits ever that could have been found. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how that works out if they mine it for EV cars and that entire industry. And finally, we're seeing banks have to raise deposit rates for savings accounts. Kind of interesting. Think about this. You've not seen deposit interest go up at a bank for basically 15 years, guys. So now you're starting to see some banks pay rates. Again, it doesn't keep up with inflation. You're losing money. You can talk to Grant Cardone and he can tell us how we're all stupid. But it's nice to see some of these banks paying as high as 4.5% interest on your money sitting there doing nothing. So, you know, people tell me about Vanguard and Fidelity and places like that you can look at as well. But it's interesting to see these banks finally starting to pay a realistic rate. Fire department's coming, okay? That's a siren. Okay? So, save your money. I'm going to finish this video with these last few stories. And the first one is these EV bikes. Mention it, and then everybody starts sending me stories. One thing that's fascinating about the EV bikes now is that people spend a lot of money on these things, thousands of dollars on these EV bikes. Now automakers are going to get in the EV bike business. You're going to see, you know, all these different brands that are going to have an EV bike. Is that a big deal? Do you want a Porsche EV bike? Is that something that interests you? Do you want a $7,000 bicycle? I mean, who would buy that? Oh, it's a Porsche, you know? I knew a guy in his living room that had a bike, a pedaling bicycle that was made by Harley Davidson. At least it had the Harley Davidson emblem on it. And no, don't ride it. Just look at it. Isn't that nice? Isn't that cool? And he spent like $4,000 on it because he was an imbecile. But no. You can look at it. Just don't touch it. Okay? There is an archaic law out of Las Vegas that a congresswoman wants to change in Vegas, and that is when you go to Las Vegas and you win a jackpot, basically any casino, and it's for over $1,200, the machine freezes up and they do what they call a hand pay, where they walk over and give you, you know, your cash or whatever you want. Let's say you won $1,500 and you have to get a 1099 for that. Basically, it's a W-2G for this. And when this was set up in the 70s, it was set up so that people could get these jackpots and they would pay the IRS their fair share and you would be reported. And this congresswoman says, this isn't right. We need to raise this. It needs to go to $5,000. But, you know, again, how many of you have won a $5,000 jackpot when you go to Vegas? Most people lose money when they go to Vegas. The final story, which is absolutely awesome, is a woman in Texas, Humble, Texas, okay? She tried to sell a car over the weekend and got arrested. She placed an ad on Facebook Marketplace for a 2022 Toyota Camry for $10,000. Wow, what a deal. And as people started to investigate the car, they realized that the car was a rental car. She was selling a rental car and trying to pass it off as her own, and they called the police, and when they called the rental car company, she had faked the title, and she went to town to do this thing. But with that being said, she got arrested for that, so kind of fun. But really a stupid criminal. You know, what are you going to say? So please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let me know, guys, is the recession going to start 6 months from now? Share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. I really want to know what you think. okay? Onward and upward, guys. I'll see you guys very soon.